3. Let's finish up over here. So basically what happened was, just to recap again, Avner was with Ishbosheth, and Avner killed Asael. And Yoav was the general for David, got upset at Avner for killing his brother, because Avner killed Yoav's brother. Then Avner and Ishbosheth had a fallout. They're not together anymore, and Avner pledges allegiance to David. And then afterwards, Yoav doesn't believe this. He doesn't like that Avner now is with David. He's not having it. So then he goes and he meets, Yoav meets Avner. He tricks him. He asks him a pretend question about laws of Yibum. He bends over to undo his shoe. And then he stabs him in the 5th rib. And he takes revenge for this that his brother, he killed his brother. David gets upset at Yoav for killing Avner, and in the end, he curses him with the status of Zab, Metzorah, holding a cane, fall by the sword, lacking bread. So that's what we're up to. Okay, so the next pasuk says, "V'Yoav Avishai achiv hargu Avner al asher imit hasayel lecheim begivon melchama." So then Yoav and his brother Avishai killed Avner because he killed their brother Hasael. The pasuk says, David said to Yoav, Kir'u bigdichem, rip your clothing and wear sackcloth, and you have to mourn about Avner. David, King David, walked behind the coffin. Okay, interesting. He's attending this funeral, right? So the commentaries say over here, the Gemara Sanhedrin actually, there's many laws that apply to a king, and to ensure that people always fear of him and give him honor. So even if a king wants to, he's not allowed to be mochel his kavod. Melech shemachal kavodo eno machul. He cannot forgive. It's not permission. There's no permission for him to forgive his honor. However, there's mahloket if he's allowed to participate in a funeral, even for a relative. One opinion says from our pasuk that David took part in Avner's funeral, so from there they want to learn that a king is allowed to take part of a funeral. The other opinion says no, it's not a proof. Why? Because this was an exception. Why was it an exception? Why would David participate in this funeral, even though he's not allowed to participate in funerals in general? Is to show that he's very sad and he had nothing to do with his murder, nothing to do with why he died. If he didn't show up to the funeral, maybe it looks suspicious. But now that he showed up and he showed that he was crying, obviously must be that he did not get involved. They buried him in Hebron. And then the king, the king raised his voice and he cried at a grave, and everybody cried. And then he said about Avner, Vayomar, Kamot Naval Yamut Avner. Should Avner die the death of a worthless person? Your hands were not tied, your feet were not in chains. You have fallen as a man falls before the wicked. And everybody cried for him even more. So what does this mean? He's saying, the Gemara Sanhedrin is saying that he's saying something deep. Avner, which is a righteous man, Yoav should not have been able to kill him. If Yoav was able to kill him, must be Avner did some sin. So what sin did Avner do that Yoav had to kill him, that Hashem allowed him to kill him? According to one opinion, it was because Avner did not protest when Shaul decided to kill the city of Kohanim Nov. So he was quiet there. He saw what was going on. He should have protested. He learns from this passage where David said, your hands were not tied, your feet were not placed in chains. What does that mean? David was saying that Shaul held Avner in a high esteem. And therefore, there was nothing preventing him from saying something to protect the Kohanim. Since Avner did not protest, so then you have fallen as a man falls before the wicked.
I thought they all protested. That's why Doeg did it, not...
So Chazal tell us otherwise. Chazal tell us that he could have done something more. Maybe his protest was not enough. Maybe he should have done more. Another opinion says that Avner, what did he do? He did protest Shaul, but Shaul didn't listen to him. As it says, your hands were not tied, you were not placed in chains, and you did not hold back from protesting Shaul's orders to kill the Kohanim. If so, so why is it that you have fallen before like a man falls before the wicked? According to one opinion, he's saying something negative about him. According to the other opinion, he's saying something positive. He's saying you weren't tied and you didn't hold yourself back. You went, you protested, and still now David is wondering why did he die. Okay, so then So then it says in the pasuk, "Vayavo kol am la'avrot David." All the people came to feed David his meal on that same day, to give him non tochum. Right? The Gemara in Sanhedrin also says la'avrot is similar to the word la'achrot. La'avrot means to feed. La'achrot means to cut. The pasuk's telling us that the people first came to cut David. They wanted to kill him because they thought that he's the one who killed Avner. But in the end, they were convinced of David's innocence, so they came to feed him Avrah instead. The first meal has to be fed by other people. Mourner's not allowed to eat his own meal, his own food. The first meal has to be brought by other people, and therefore they fulfill this halakha by David as well. So what the pasuk says? Pasuk says David didn't accept. וישבע דוד לאמור כה יעשה לי אלוקים וכה יוסיף כי אם לפני בוא השמש אטעם לחם כל מאומה. He says, Hashem should do such and such a thing to me if it tastes any bread before the sun sets. See, they want to eat that whole entire day. And then everybody saw that David was very serious and he was very sad, and they all realized that it was not his fault that son of Abner, died. So what happens? So the king says, listen, what should we do? The king said to his servants, נפל היום בזה בישראל, אנוכי היום רך משוח מלך, והאנשים האלה בני צרויה קשים ממני לשלם, השם לעושה רעה כרעתו. So what happens? David's upset also that King David's upset also that Yoav should get punished for killing Avner. But he says, I'm very weak. I have no strength now to deal with this. May Hashem repay the evildoer according to his deed. Okay, fine. So then, the King David was angry at Yoav, so then why didn't he punish him? Because he was too weak. Not weak. What does that mean, weak? The Gemara Sanhedrin says he was too politically weak. The only advantage David had over Yoav was that he was anointed as king. In terms of power, the chutzpah of Yoav and his men gave the upper hand. So really, you see that even though the King David was king, it has to be the people that believe in it. You understand? You could have a title, but if nobody respects you, nobody's going to listen to you. You know, sometimes people become head rabbi or head of the company, but people don't respect him, so they don't really do what they just tell him like this, okay, and then in the end they don't do what he says. So David felt the same way. He says when he said something and he said that Yoav should be killed, he felt that the chutzpah of his men is going to go fight back and they're not going to listen. So therefore we learn from here, the Gemara says, that a person's chutzpah can make him more powerful than a king. You hear this? Even the king, you could be mezalzel, you could disgrace and have chutzpah. See, that's why the worst thing is when you have a minyan, and then you have a rabbi, and then you have someone who's chutzpah, who has chutzpah. The rabbi says that this is what we're going to do, and then we decided this is the halakha, we decided that this is the right thing to do, and the guy says, no, I don't care. I don't follow this rule. I'm above the rule. Yeah. Right? You make a rule. There's no phones in the shul. Yeah, and the guy says, no, I don't care. I have my phone. You don't like it, too bad for you. You go to him and tell him, listen, we're not allowed to have phones. No, Rabbi, this rule's not for me. Sorry. I'm going to go pray somewhere else if you make me do this. Yeah, it's a chutzpah. What is this chutzpah? Pray with us and listen. What's the problem? You can't put your phone away. What are you, 2 years old? So that's the chutzpah. The chutzpah can be, even against a king, you can make a chutzpah even more powerful than a king. Chas v'shalom. Okay, let's start chapter 4, just a little bit. Shaul's sons found out that Avner died, and everybody was shocked. There was 2 men, head of legions, who were with Shaul's son. Okay, who was with Ishbosheth? Now he got new friends. What's his new friends? One was Banaa, and the second one was named Rechav, sons of Rimon, of the Be'eroti, of the tribe of Binyamin. And then now he has a new team. Now Yonatan, the son of Shaul, he had a son who was lame. He was 5 years old when he heard about Shaul and Yonatan dying. His nursemaid picked him up and fled, and she dropped him and became lame. His name was Mephibosheth. Okay, so you have to understand. There was son of Shaul, Ishbosheth. Then you have Yonatan, son of Shaul. His son was named Mephibosheth. He can't walk. He has a cripple. So you have to get caught up with the names over here. And you have Ishbosheth who got new friends called Rechav and Banaa, and he's going to help them try to get the kingdom back from David, but we're going to see that he's not going to pass, he's going to fail, and we're going to see what happens next time. Baruch Adonai Olam.